How do you deal with the aftermath of an affair? You're married, your significant other decides to cheat. She falls pregnant by somebody else who is not you. All right? Now, some people would say cheating is the ultimate betrayal for me, I'm leaving. But others would be like, you know what, I'll just work it out. But even in your leaving or staying, how do you deal with the aftermath of an affair? That's the conversation today. A very good evening to you. I hope you're keeping all right. My name is Eric, and this right here is Eric Stories. If you're new, Karibu. Thank you for finding time to hang out with me. The other day I was hanging out with two of my friends, and they're married. Actually, it was a couple. And we were having a conversation about different challenges in marriage, because I like to, run in and try and sharpen myself before I ever get in, right? And so we got to talk about somebody we both know, we all know. And one of the couples was sharing that, the man decided to impregnate a younger woman. He's married, right? He's a married man. He decided to impregnate a younger woman. And so I was confiding to my friends that one of the challenges I have, my biggest concern about committed relationships and marriages even, is that sometimes when you wield your power, because that's really what you're doing, you are at your most vulnerable self. You've decided to walk down the aisle with somebody and they're your significant other now. And guess what they decide to do? They go and lie down with somebody else and then get something acute like an untreatable STD. And then they bring it to you. And then later that evening, you become the proud owner of a disease. All right? Or she decides and goes, gets pregnant with somebody else. And then now you have a kid that you didn't plan for. And so I was telling them that the idea around giving my power and somebody abusing it is very uncomfortable to me many times, But then, what is love? What is love? I guess you have to take these risks, eh? And so, while I'm not a therapist, I thought to have a quick chat with you tonight about, how to deal with the fact of somebody you're married to or you're dating for a while, deciding to go and cheat, and then you discovering. What do you do? And please, if you've gone through some of this stuff, I love your perspective. Share with me so I know how you dealt with it as well. Don't act out having an affair of your own to retaliate. Retaliation worsens the situation. It does. And many times, the person who cheated in the beginning turns around and starts saying, you see, they make you the problem just because you retaliated. I know people who, after discovering somebody has cheated, they're like, oh, now, even the person who was texting me now, let me give them an opportunity now so we are even. That's not very wise. Two wrongs don't make a right. And it doesn't sort out the situation. It will not make you feel any better. You still always have questions lingering at the back of your mind. Why? Why, Deborah, did you do this to me? All right. So I think, first off the bat, we remove the idea of retaliating. All right. Secondly, commit to a certain period of time in couples therapy to work out the relationship. For some interesting reason, we've still not entirely embraced the concept of seeing a therapist. It's amazing how if your tooth was a bit loose, you'd go and see a dentist with instantaneous immediacy. If your skin was breaking out funny and you had some acute acne or something uncomfortable in your skin or a rash, you'd go see a dermatologist. And same with your eyes. If you had something in your eye, you would not just, close your eyes and sleep in the house. You'd go see an optician. Same to our cars. We do the same with our cars. You hear a funny sound, immediately you go to the office, call the mechanic, come check this thing out. Why? Because there are people who've gone to school and studied this stuff. In the same measure, it's not bad to go see a therapist. They've studied this thing. I've read if you are in such a challenge and maybe you're trying to see a therapist, it helps to see a certified couples therapist who is also an experienced sex therapist so they can try and fix your problem in marriage or in your relationship. I think that goes a longer way, and hopefully in the next few years we'll be all comfortable to embrace the need to see a therapist so they walk us through some of these challenges, because that's what they've gone to school for. So go see a couples therapist, go see a sex therapist, or one who has both qualifications to sort of try and unravel and suss out this challenge that you have right now. They can lead you through some of these difficult conversations. I think that's important. What do you think? You want to write the questions you have regarding the affair that you would like to discuss and then bring those questions with you to the therapy. Go with the questions you have, whatever it is that is bothering you. A lot of us like to be ostragic, which is sad. Ostragic is not a word. But, burying your head in the sand, that's not very wise. It's very clear that they cheated. She's pregnant by somebody else. She's confessed. And now you decide to just play the motion. You go to work, come back, nobody knows, you're very quiet. That's like being in a very bad accident on your way to the village, breaking your leg, your hip, and 4 ribs, and then just taking the next border and going back home, showering and sleeping. That is not well. So while we immediately and quickly respond to physical pain, emotional pain is just as severe, if not more severe. All right? So write down the questions you have to your significant other or to your therapist. You could also find out why the affair happened when it did. What led to the affair? Is it a possibility that I forgive you and then it's a recurring thing? Deal with it. It's a problem. The same way we pop pills when we have a cold or something, or we have some dis-ease. Deal with it. Don't be ostragic. All right? When it comes to kids, supposing she's cheated and she's pregnant and you already have 2 kids and you've discovered this is from a fair partner, you want to be careful with children. Why? Because children need a lot of security and comfort and safety. So it's possible to share with the kids that, look, we have some trouble, but we are working it out without going into the details. Okay? You can save the kids the details. Some grown-ups can be a bit funny. So you're tucking the babies in the baby's coat, and then you start blurting out how she got pregnant with somebody else, and mom is a W word. You're like, oh, mommy loves to just disturb the peace now. The baby she's carrying is not my own. You don't want your kids into that. It's depressing for children. The little teenager or maybe a 9-year-old cannot handle that. So you want to try, I think it's wiser, to continue to give stability, make them feel safe and secure. All right? So say we have challenges, but mom and daddy are working it out. And even if it ends up into divorce, then you can break that information down, but you don't want to burden them with some crazy information because you're hurting. You want to talk to an adult or a therapist and not your children. Okay? And then finally, establish specific actions which the partner who's strayed can follow to begin to repair trust in the relationship. So you've decided you're staying, but she got pregnant with Joachim. So what does this mean, Jennifer? Does it mean that Joachim will be talking to you privately, or do we open an email? What mode of communication will Joachim be talking to us through? Now that all communique will have to be seen by both of us. Is he going to text us? And on whose phone? Will I be meeting him by myself so that he doesn't have access to you? You want to discuss that. If he emails us, we both have access to the one email so that if an email pops, we see. Or can he walk in on us and just want to find out how the baby you're carrying for him is doing? Or do we cut him off and raise the baby as though it were our own? Talk about those things, Make sure there is no more secrets about this particular affair or any other affairs. Talk about everything. Because if anything pops up, it's going to affect the rebuilding of trust and can cause reemergence of animosity. All right? It's very interesting. But if you're thinking of cheating also, just in closing, it's interesting how 1 minute of lust, with just 1 minute, can ruin everything. And I'm not saying this from a perfect man standpoint. I'm just saying that the decisions you make have consequences. The actions you decide to choose have consequences. And sometimes you can lose your entire wife and your entire children and your entire husband and your entire children because of what you're planning to do this Saturday with a random man in the middle of Syokimau. Let me know what you think about this stuff. And you know, before you lose it all. Let me know how you think. DM me or share with me on the comment section, and have a lovely night. Good night.